Hello everyone, so this is going to be a video on my NQ model or my indices model. So let's jump straight into it. So here we can see we have this schematic right here, and I want you to assume that this is 1 hour chart. Now every single day we are going to see a red on a 1 hour high or low, okay, before continuing higher or lower. So if we are expecting higher prices every single day, we are going to expect a red on a H1 low, and then we would expect higher prices from there. That low red happens to actually take out the people who are already long in the market, and we can call that a manipulation. So this manipulation happens either at 9:30 a.m. or before 9:30 a.m. after 2 a.m. London. If market has already taken out a significant 1 hour low before 9:30 a.m., then we can expect continuation of the market at 9:30 a.m. And if price hasn't taken out a low or a high before 9:30 a.m., then what we would expect is that 9:30 a.m. is gonna take out that high or low, manipulate, and then go higher or lower after that. So if let's say price doesn't take out a low at 9:30 a.m. or a high at 9:30 a.m., then this is how it's gonna look like at 9:30 a.m. We are gonna see a manipulation and then expansion higher. And if it has taken out a low, then what we would see is that after that low is taken out, we are going to see some reaction to the upside, and at 9:30 a.m. we would see market just continuing higher or expanding higher without actually manipulating. So this is how it actually goes, and this happens almost every single day, and it has significantly very high win rate actually. Now we are done with the schematics. Now let's go to a real chart examples, and I'm going to show you examples that I have actually traded, not some hindsight. Before moving into examples, I want to tell you about the challenge that I'm going to start. So I'm starting a public challenge on my Telegram channel. Link will be given below in the description. Now in that challenge, I'm going to take my prop account from challenge phase to a funded account, and I will get a payout with it, and all my trades, all the risk management, everything would be shared beforehand in my Telegram channel, and it's completely free, so make sure to join. Okay, so let's get back into the examples now. So take a look at this chart right here. I was expecting lower prices. Now in this model you need a bias. You actually need a bias. You need to understand where the market is going. If you don't understand how to find out bias, I have a video on that. You will find it here at the top right corner. Alright, so I was expecting lower prices in this chart here, or in this on this specific day. Price already hit a weekly order block, right? Now let's go to the lower time frame chart, the 1 hour chart here. Here what we see is that at 9:30 a.m. Now here what we see is that at 9:30 a.m. we see an SMT with ES. Now before 9:30 a.m. we see no red on a high, and I was expecting lower prices. So we would expect the 9:30 a.m. opening time to actually manipulate higher to take out a significant high before moving lower. It didn't take out this high or this high, but we had an SMT, and an SMT is also considered a red for me. I use SMTs as a red. I consider them a red. Okay, so ES already took out this high, now NQ doesn't have to. And if that happens, this is actually much better. If ES doesn't take out a high and NQ doesn't, and I want to short, that means that NQ is actually more weaker than ES. So that's just even more better for us. So here's an SMT, right? Or we can say this was the red or the manipulation at 9:30 a.m. Now let's go to the low time frame, and here I would enter using my entry pattern. Now my entry pattern is after intermediate term high. You can enter on a market structure shift or anything, even though I don't recommend that, but it just depends on you. You can have your own entry models and it works with that. This model just gives you logic, and you can use any entry pattern. I use this entry pattern, and you can see the RR that I got with this, and I executed this on my prop account. Now I also have a video on entry patterns, so if you want to check that out, it will be given here as well. Now let's move into the next example. So here I was expecting lower prices again. We had an SMT with ES, and then remember what I told you, that we were going to expect a red on a high at 9:30 a.m. or before that. So here we don't see any red on a high before 9:30 a.m. So I was waiting for 9:30 to manipulate, and that happens here. A high is taken out before moving lower. So now I'm gonna go into a low time frame chart and see my model there. So take a look at this. This is the 9:30 a.m. This right here. We move higher. We make a change in state of delivery. This could be your entry if you want to enter there, but I wait for intermediate term highs, and as soon as that was formed, I entered there and I targeted 2 hour, and this is also a trade that I executed on my prop account. Now moving into the final example, this is the final example and this is a long actually. So price actually took out external range liquidity and I was aiming for the internal range liquidity, so my bias was actually bullish. I was expecting higher prices. Now let's go to the lower time frame chart. Now I want you to take a look at this chart here. So we are actually ranging here, and now we have a red on a low, but remember what I told you, that red must be after 2 a.m. and this isn't after 2 a.m. 2 a.m. is somewhere here. This was before 2 a.m., right? So we see a range, a consolidation, and then at 8:30 a.m. we had a news. So the news took that out, right? So news took out the lows, right? So what are we going to expect? We are going to expect the 9:30 to actually expand higher, and this is what happens here. This is the 9:30 a.m. candle here. Let's go into the low time frame and I will show you my execution there and how the 9:30 am expanded. So here's that news thing here. Okay, the news manipulation, a change in state of delivery here. Now I don't enter there. I enter on intermediate term low formation. Intermediate term low is formed here after price breached this high. I entered there and I had my stop loss at this low. Now I want you to look at 9:30. So this is 9:30. See how the 9:30 am candle expands without manipulating lower. So this model is like really simple, and the thing with it is that you're gonna catch expansions most of the time. Now this one isn't really an expansion, but the other trades that I showed you were actually expansions. You saw how clean they were and how one-sided they were, and you can get some really high RR trades with it. Thank you for watching this video, and if you want to learn more, there is a lot in my YouTube channel. You can check it out and make sure to like the video if you found it helpful and subscribe. Thank you.